Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Kristen Hartman. We begin with the rapidly changing developments unfolding in the Russia investigation. 3 men at the center of the probe face criminal charges. They are George Papadopoulos, who pleaded guilty, as well as Paul Manafort and Rick Gates, who both entered not guilty pleas. Manafort and Gates served under the president during his campaign. They face federal charges of money laundering and conspiracy. The president wrote on Twitter saying the alleged actions happened prior to Manafort joining the Trump team. The indictments are the first to come from the special counsel's sprawling investigation into possible coordination between Russia and Trump's 2016 election effort. We heard from Manafort's attorney late today.
Well, I think you all saw today that President Donald Trump was correct. There is no evidence that Mr. Manafort or the Trump campaign colluded with the Russian government. Mr. Manafort represented pro-European Union campaigns for the Ukrainian. And in that, he was seeking to further democracy and to help the Ukraine come closer to the United States and the EU. Those activities ended in 2014, over 2 years before Mr. Manafort served in the Trump campaign.
Both men surrendered to the Justice Department today. Manafort's bond was set at $10 million and Gates' bond was set at $5 million. Joining me now in the studio to discuss today's developments is attorney Marty Pinales, who has spent the last 4 decades defending people in federal and state courts. Marty, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. I think from the outset, what we have to get clear with is these are 2 very separate cases. You have Manafort and Gates, and then you have Papadopoulos. How are they different?
They're different because the subject matter is totally different.
Okay.
First of all, the Papadopoulos indictment was, or information, was only for lying to a federal agent.
An FBI agent.
An FBI agent. And that covered nothing about anything with Trump or, more importantly, with the ties to Russia. It is just, I didn't tell the truth to the investigator. Obviously, there's much more. And obviously, Mr. Papadopoulos is cooperating. And they are trying to get and tie in the administration closer into that.
Should the administration be concerned with the fact that he has entered a guilty plea and is cooperating?
Obviously, okay. Because he already has a good deal. And the better the deal, the more the cooperation. And the special prosecutor wants to bring in the Trump administration. That's his goal.
Sure. Does his case have any bearing, though, on the Manafort-Gates case?
The only part of possible concern with the Trump administration is that is the Manafort indictment a first step? Subject matter-wise, it has nothing to do with the Trump administration.
And it had everything to do with Ukraine.
Well, it had to do with Ukraine and the Ukraine government, which was pro-Russia. And so there may be the tie, but as far as the administration, nothing.
Okay. So what are we likely to see happen next?
Well, first of all,
okay,
on Papadopoulos, I expect the cooperation to continue, and that may lead to further indictments.
It may allow for the peeling back of an onion, so to speak, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good way of putting it. The Manafort-Gates indictment, it is clear from the events that unfolded today that they are not cooperating. It is clear that they are going to take this case all the way. And by doing so, it may absolutely not lead to anything else.
Okay.
Clearly, you need cooperation. Normally, they indict, they want to get to somebody who leads them to somebody else, who leads them to somebody else, and that's the whole purpose of that.
So when the Trump administration says no collusion right now,
it's clear that with this indictment, there's no collusion.
All right. Marty, thank you for clearing all of that up. It can be a tougher case to follow.
Certainly.
Yeah.
It's a difficult case, yes.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll probably talk with you about this in the future.
My pleasure.